You're watching Screen Junkies News from San Diego Comic-Con. Brought to you by the new Samsung Chromebook Plus, the first Chromebook made for Google Play.
Welcome to Comic-Con Day 3, and we are back again at Screen Junkies News. I am Roth Cornett. This is Andy Signor. We are joined by the illustrious Mark Andreyko, DJ
Eisner
Woolridge,
winner.
Eisner winning Mark Andreyko. Thank
Where's
you.
my trailer?
DJ Woolridge, thank you for being here. DC experts, and we are going to break down the Aquaman footage that Warner Brothers dropped.
That no one's allowed to see, but we saw it all.
They haven't released it yet. I think they may at a certain point. We'll see.
I don't think they will.
Next
No,
year when the
we'll
movie
not,
comes
we
out.
won't
This
see
will
any of
not
this.
be seen.
That's the actual footage we saw will be the opening of the trailer that we
Yeah,
get
that's what I'm saying.
9 months from now, but it's going to be a while because
All right, well, can we break it down
Well,
for them?
let's break it down.
Because they
And
didn't get to see this.
This
right.
is very, very early. They're shooting in Australia right now. So they released basically some
Starts
concept.
with Beyond the Sea. Oh, that's right. They did the concept art first.
They did a bunch of concept art first. And then there was a little bit of footage from the film itself. Mark, tell us what we saw.
The footage was two guys out on their boat in the middle of the ocean, fishing, no land anywhere, and he throws, but it was the French version of Beyond the Sea. It wasn't even in English. This guy casts his line, and then something pulls, and they start getting dragged and dragged, and then the camera pans up above the guys, and under the water.
They let go of the fishing rod.
They let go of the fishing
Let go
rod.
of the fishing rod after it takes the
And then
water.
they pan up above the guys, and you see underneath them one big aquatic glowing ship. Then it pans back further. Then there's more. Then it pans. I believe there are boom, 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 and you see thousands, like an undersea armada underneath them.
And what are they riding?
Yeah, and then you dive under the water, and they're definitely riding on sharks.
They were riding
They were riding on
they're
sharks.
definitely
No, wait,
riding
but
on
there was one
sharks.
other cool part when the guy sees what's going on the boat. This like shark fin comes out, but then he has like 8 other shark fins, and you're
Yeah,
like, that's
it's
not
like
a shark.
Jurassic shark or something.
It's definitely it definitely gives you the sense of, oh man, we're screwed. That's like the feeling like, oh, this is not a good thing.
This
Well,
is not going
I'm
to go
glad-
They're
well.
way too close to the surface.
Yeah, way too close. To
I'm
the
glad,
surface.
and pun completely intended, that it looks like they're diving deeply into creating a new world. I thought there's not going to be a lot of Atlantis, and from the concept art we saw, it looks insane. It looks
Yeah.
like a sci-fi movie. There's an entire reality under the sea that is breathtaking.
Well,
And-
it's clear. It's clear they didn't show us a lot of that because if they're really doing that,
Well,
they
it's
will
not done.
need so much more
Yeah.
time to make that
Yeah.
look right.
Yeah, and it's clear. They said that this is really going to be an origin story, and the idea is to introduce you to this world and these characters, which I think is amazing, right?
Well, what James said that was great was what worked so much in Wonder Woman was it was an origin story, but we were learning with her.
Right.
And he said the same thing. He said, this is an origin story where we're learning as Aquaman is learning. And that's the way these origin stories have to work. You can't tell us. We have to be experiencing it with the characters.
And the footage ends with a shot of Momoa on what looks like a sunken
pirate
ship.
ship.
Yeah, and he has this.
There was air.
Yeah, but he's up on the surface, but he's got the coolest looking like red sword that he flips around, and he's talking to somebody. He's like, "Do you want to talk about this?" Me neither. And clearly he's going to throw down with somebody.
Well, we may know who that somebody is. So you're saying that. So let's just clarify a couple of things. This footage came in via a message from director James Wan, who is very busy in Australia shooting. Jason Momoa was here, probably jetted in,
He's
and will
leaving
jet
right
back
now,
out
probably,
tomorrow.
And he came in through like the
Came
back,
in
like
through the
everyone's
crowd.
surprised
Yeah.
with the with his
Barefoot
trident.
and burly and crazy.
And he's
Yeah.
so much fun.
Yeah.
He was having a great
Yeah.
time, very excited about this character. We did see a little bit from him. You're basically looking at him. You're not seeing who he's going to fight. It's
Yeah.
as if it's the perspective of the person he's going to fight. And yeah, he says, "You want to talk? Me neither." And then they're clearly going to throw down. And then later in the Justice League panel, felt like he 100%
Well, yeah,
did drop who his enemy was.
An adorable little, I think it was an adorable little kid
Little
that said, are those ships Aquamans or Black Mantas? And he said, all right, I'm going to spill something.
I just flew.
He's like, I just flew in here from Australia. I don't care. He said, Black Manta doesn't have that technology. He said, that's Ocean Master. That's my brother. And I was like, that's a fantastic. It's public knowledge that Patrick Wilson is Ocean Master, right?
Well, it is
It
now.
is
but I just
now,
said it.
Mark. Thank you.
I thought I saw it on Deadline Hollywood.
No,
but,
it is.
but Patrick Wilson is Ocean Master. So
We have,
seeing
we have a shot of Ocean Master for that. Can you? Because I'm not as familiar. I'll be honest. In the Aquaman lore, who is Ocean Master?
Ocean Master is Aquaman's half brother.
Got it.
And he wants to be the king of Atlantis as opposed to Aquaman. So I'm assuming, based on the fact that we're coming to understand that it sounds like Aquaman is really going to be introduced to the Atlantean world in this movie, that maybe he's been spending a majority of his time with humans.
Well, James Wan said that. He's like, when I introduced this, because that in that clip before, didn't you see? I think he said a line about like, I want to make sure this is such an amazing thing. I want to see Aquaman's reaction to Atlantis.
Yeah, so it looks like his connection to Atlantis will be minimal in the Justice League movie, and so diving into that, maybe the one true king is showing up, and Ocean Master might be acting as king, and not so happy that his half brother shows back up.
Diving in. I think we should get candies for every time we do a ocean joke. Go.
And having brother versus brother goes back to Cain and Abel. It's a great story. It's such great, rich, dramatic material to mine. And you've got Patrick Wilson, who is a Tony Award winning. He's a phenomenal actor.
Great in
so
Fargo.
having great actors elevates this material so much, and it's why it explains why these stories resonate with us and why this is our mythology right now.
Absolutely. Thank you, Mark. That's absolutely true, and I agree. That is such a classic. That is why it's our current mythology. We need these characters. We need mythology as human beings. We're driven by it. And brother v. brother, or I mean, that story is threaded through so many of these stories. The idea of two people that love one another, and then something tears them asunder, and they're even more brutally enemies after that.
But that's what you need. That's what I've always said.
Asunder.
You have to care. You have to care about the characters, or the fight scenes are just a video game.
Yeah.
You have to care. We love Spider-Man because it's a kid under a mask. We love Batman because it's this guy who's tormented by the loss of his parents. The human backstory is what makes the fight scenes have value.
Anything else you guys picked up about Aquaman or thoughts?
Yeah, well, I mean, he said something. Jason Momoa said in the panel, a Justice League panel afterwards, was a little telling maybe of the movie. But they were like, describe how his character is feeling. And he was just like, he's not accepted on land. He's not accepted in Atlantis. He's sort of an onion.
He lives in the tides.
Yeah, he lives in the tides.
That was a good...
He's sort of an onion. And the audience was like, oh, like he just got them immediately to like want to hug him. I mean, did you feel that? I imagine you're as the hugger. I wanted to jump up there and hug him.
I love to hug. I love hugs. And
but he was just he's just saying like how
him.
he the layered character of he's not in either place. So I like this idea of like it's the rebel. He doesn't have anywhere to go.
Well, there was also one great final question. The kid said, what character, or a guy dressed as Wonder Woman said, what character from the Suicide Squad would you like to throw down with? And Jason Momoa said, Jai Courtney. And I'm like, yeah, I want to see that. I don't want to go into the reasons why I want to see that, but I want to see those two throw down.
Well, then Gal said Margot Robbie.
Yeah.
And also in some of the art, the concept art they were showing, we did see some of Black Manta in his armor, so he will be showing up as Black Manta at some point in the movie.
And we had people riding sharks wearing armor.
True.
Okay, that's all I need. That's all I need. They can do that for 2 hours.
The effects were pretty good. I mean, it's
you
early.
You can tell
it's
little
still some work.
stuff.
There may be people like, oh, the effects were. This
but
was early.
They presented it as early concept
yes,
stuff.
And they made that clear. And they did say this is not going to be seen anywhere else.
Yeah.
So people keep asking, where's the footage? Where's the footage? You're not going to get it.
You're never going to see it.
Not going to release this one.
And it's partially because it's so early.
Well, it's coming out next Christmas.
Yeah.
So yeah, we got.
They have a lot of time to render, and that rendering makes it all look better. But yeah, them riding on the mechanical. Well, I guess I couldn't tell if the sharks.
I thought that was maybe
dolphins.
I thought that was maybe the digital, but there were people riding a couple great white sharks.
Yeah.
Like,
They were sharks
Incredible.
because the last shot was a big shark being like.
Yeah.
Well, I just want to go back because people didn't get to see it. Let's really describe this. Like that shot after we see the boat on land and they pull up, it really does look like these mechanical like spaceship manta rays that were like in there, and they're like 100. I don't know, 100 of them. There were
thousands of them.
Yeah, they were.
Like.
It was intense, flying the whole ocean floor. So you did get this really cool visual of like, wow, I didn't expect it to be that big right away. And then when we went underwater, it was like more ships. Holy crap, people riding dolphins and sharks.
And I loved how they incorporated, like, it looks like they've done a lot of incorporation of real undersea life, because it looked like there was a lot of bioluminescent stuff, which I'm like, embrace the world of the ocean.
Yeah.
That's gonna be for Aquaman what Themyscira was for the Wonder Woman audience, a world we've never seen on film before, which is gonna make people invest in it, because when they get to discover it, they take ownership for it. So I'm so sold on what we saw from Aquaman just after that footage right now.
TJ, do you think that the idea that I'm not accepted on land and sea means he's going to be unseated in this movie?
Unseated from like where his home is and where he feels like he belongs. Yeah, I think this is going to kind of be him. I would imagine this would be the story of him accepting his role as the King of Atlantis.
Yeah.
That he's kind of been, like a lot of the Justice League, like an orphan boy, just doing what he can and to help people, but mostly focus on his own survival, to him accepting his role as like, oh, I need to be the guy that leads these people because my brother's crazy.
And don't forget, his name is Arthur, and he is a king. There's a lot of Arthurian lore that different writers have employed in the Aquaman lore. So, you know, King Arthur was just a squire, and then he pulls a sword from the stone and is suddenly in this place where he's the king of the world. Using the King Arthur lore in the story of Aquaman, once again, it's a classic story. This guy who becomes the leader who's not ready for it.
All right, final thoughts? Anything?
I just want to also just say how much I like Jason Momoa. I feel like I got to give
so
Zack
great.
Snyder credit because Gal Gadot I didn't really think was going to pull it off, and Jason Momoa, whatever. But he's managing to cast these people really strong, and Jason was so fun in this panel. Just I absorbed I was like, I'm in. You've sold me.
Yeah.
There was the moment where they were asking like, what's your favorite moment of shooting these? He's like, oh, it's probably the time I was surfing the Batmobile with BA over there.
Yeah.
And I'm like, Dad's got to go to work to his like kids. And it's like, you can just tell he's loving this so
You can
much.
tell they're all loving it. The excitement and the passion that they have for this material is so palpable that the audience, I think, was just in the palm of their hand for the whole panel.
Momoa destroyed his chair after they played the Justice League trailer.
He's like, boom, he just destroyed it. And then as a gentleman, he realized the chair was broken, and he just sat on the floor, Indian style.
Yeah. Yep.
Trying to rebuild it.
I like him a lot. He's now made me excited, and I just like his energy.
Warner Brothers must be thrilled because the reaction to the personalities here, all of these guys and girls, when they're out on the press junket, every reporter in the world is going to want to interview them because you want to be friends with these people after watching them.
I thought it was great. It was such a well-done panel. I am looking forward to seeing this film like you guys. And again, like Wonder Woman, as you say, Mark and DJ, a story of someone taking their place in the world. What could be more relatable than that, and yet underwater?
And yeah, something we haven't seen
Something
before.
we haven't seen before in these movies, which is so great. We have to keep refreshing the comic book genre in order for us to stay tuned. Thank you guys for staying tuned with us today. We will be back with so many more things.
Breaking down the DC slate
We will
and
be
Ready
doing-
Player One. More videos live. I'm excited for them to see.
Thank you guys for joining us today.
Thanks for having us.
Mark, love is love. I'm going to say it on this video too. Love is love, love is love, love is love. That is the book that this man
Yes, Eisner winning book.
Yeah, we won the Eisner last night. We've raised over $200,000 for the victims of the Pulse nightclub shooting. We're keeping it in print. You can get it on Amazon.com with 20 extra pages of digital material. All money goes to charity, and it's a great book.
Bravo, sir.
Bravo. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you guys. Stay tuned. So much more from Comic-Con to come. Please, let's all be nice to each other. Andy, you're looking very handsome today.
Thanks. Bye, everybody.
We'd like to thank our sponsor, the new Samsung Chromebook Plus, for sponsoring today's episode.